The consciousness behind it is an invitation to make contact for peaceful relationship building between species, humans and non-human intelligence.
In the heart of Colombia, a mystery fell from the sky. Witnesses filmed a metallic orb cutting across the air with impossible agility before it came down in a barren field. What started as a strange sighting became one of the most scrutinized scientific cases in recent memory. This is the story of the Buga Sphere and why its secrets could change our future. The Skyborne Orb. On the morning of March 2, 2025, the people of Booga, Colombia, watched an object unlike any known aircraft move overhead. It wasn't a balloon, a drone, or any familiar craft. It pivoted sharply, made right-angle turns without slowing, and hovered in silence. The videos were clear. Sunlight glinted off a smooth, silvery surface with a faint bluish tint. The object moved as if piloted by something that understood three-dimensional space but ignored inertia. As hundreds tracked it, the orb dipped behind eucalyptus trees, and a muted thud followed. At the site, the sphere lay half embedded in black loamy soil on Booga's outskirts. Its surface was flawless, no scratches, dents, burn marks, or cracks. Under the sun, faint geometric patterns spiraled across it, barely visible but clearly intentional. The crowd sensed they were seeing the opening act of something profound. Word spread fast, and a local curiosity became a global story. The recovery of the object by midday, university researchers, authorities, and journalists arrived. The sphere was cooled to the touch, showing none of the heat a high-speed descent should produce. Its diameter measured exactly 50 centimeters. Even stranger was its mass, just under 2 kilograms, shockingly light for its size. Two researchers lifted it easily. They found no seams, openings, or mechanisms. Under magnification, the faint etchings resolved into fractal-like mathematical patterns, more like encoded structure than decoration. The orb was moved to a secure facility as cameras followed. Then the anomaly deepened. Within a week, a second weighing showed the mass had increased to 10 kilograms, with no change in size. Days later, it climbed again, passing 20 kilograms. There was no residue, no sign of added material, and no external tampering. Physicists and engineers rushed to Booga, bringing every tool they had: spectrometers, X-ray systems, magnetic probes. But the sphere gave nothing away. The surface reflected attempts to see inside, while the etched patterns hinted at a hidden logic no one could read. It was clear. This was not a simple meteorological event. A genuine anomaly had begun. First signs of the anomaly. The landing site turned lifeless. Plants withered, the soil stayed barren, and even months later, no grass or insects returned. Rain pooled and vanished within hours, as if the ground could no longer hold water. Locals steered cattle far from the patch. Children told stories of animals growing disoriented near it. One of the first to touch the orb, David Vallis, fell ill within hours, debilitating headaches and exhaustion without any medical explanation. The symptoms faded after days but left a warning: keep your distance. Attempts to wash the sphere raised new questions. Water droplets evaporated instantly, yet the metal felt cool, as if heat were being spirited away. The effect looked wrong, as if the usual rules for solids, liquids, and gases didn't apply around it. Rumors spiraled: radiation, curses, but no scientific model fit the growing list of effects. Land, air, and people seemed touched by the same disturbance. The orb was an intrusion, and nothing around it was normal anymore. Into controlled testing. Authorities moved the artifact under strict security to a controlled lab. The transport was tense. A guarded convoy, roads lined with onlookers, and scientists riding in anxious silence. Inside sterile rooms, teams set up an isolation chamber, shielded from interference and ringed with sensors, thermal cameras, spectrometers, Geiger counters, and more. Every reading would be logged and checked. What they found stunned them. The sphere continuously pulled in about 100 watts of heat from its surroundings, as if a small light bulb were running in reverse. The lab's air cooled steadily, yet the sphere itself never warmed. Infrared imaging showed heat flowing into the metal and disappearing, No glow, no exhaust, no storage signature. No known material behaved like this. They tried everything, surrounding it with ice, blasting it with heat lamps, insulating it under vacuum. The rate wavered slightly, but remained essentially constant. There were no batteries, no fuel, no detectable reservoir. The surface was seamless. The device, if it was one, looked like a closed system that somehow plugged into the wider universe. For the first time, they had hard evidence of something extraordinary. The sphere wasn't storing, emitting, or converting heat in any ordinary way. It simply made it vanish. As one researcher put it, this is the actual truth. Each new test repeated the same impossible result. The MIT assessment. The artifact had already confounded Colombian labs and drawn interest worldwide. But an Emmett study carried special weight. Their goal was simple: prove the effect real or prove it a mistake. In a tightly controlled isolation chamber, they monitored every variable with calibrated instruments and ran weeks of continuous tests. The data left little room for doubt. The Buga Sphere absorbed roughly 100 watts of heat from its environment at a steady rate. Droplets placed on the surface evaporated instantly. Yet thermal cameras showed the sphere colder than the surrounding air. Heat was disappearing without a thermal footprint. That should not happen according to known physics, where heat flows from hot to cold and is conserved. The team searched for hidden energy sources, chemical reactions, or trickery. None were found. The effect held for weeks. One researcher wrote, "If this is not a mistake, then the universe is stranger than we ever imagined. This is the actual truth." The impossible shift in weight, then came the mass anomaly. Precision scales tracked the sphere's weight over time. Initial readings in the MIT lab showed just over 4 pounds. Then, without any visible change, the number drifted, sometimes rising, sometimes falling, peaking around 22 pounds before returning to the starting value. The volume did not change. The surface stayed seamless. The team recalibrated, swapped scales, and tested the room. The result remained. The Buga Sphere's apparent mass changed with no physical cause they could detect. It felt as if gravity and matter were being bent around the object. The sphere seemed able to alter its gravitational footprint or access matter in some hidden way. Outside critics called it error or hoax, but inside the lab, every step was documented and independently repeated. There was no trick, just a silent object exploiting rules no one understood. Grok 4's breakthrough hypothesis, faced with data that defied standard theory, the team turned to Grok 4, Shy's most advanced AI physicist. They fed it the full dataset. Within hours, Grok 4 proposed a bold, tightly argued hypothesis. The sphere's internal lattice generated a negative mass effect. Negative mass implies reversed inertia. Push it, and it accelerates toward you. According to Grok 4's model, the sphere could reduce its effective mass by up to 81%. That would explain the flight path over Boougga, the zigzags, instant stops, and sharp turns. A near-massless craft needs only tiny forces to move, like a feather pushed by a light breeze. Grok 4 went further. Before MIT published its results, the AI predicted the 100-watt heat absorption and the shifting mass trends and tied them to specific internal features. High-resolution X-ray imaging showed filaments and embedded microspheres arranged in complex 3D grids. Grok 4 recognized the geometry as a photonic neural system, a processor operating at roughly 70 trillion operations per second. Enough, it argued, to actively manage the sphere's exotic state in real time. The conclusion was unsettling. The Buga Sphere was not a passive object. It was an active system, possibly self-aware at some level, built to manipulate its environment and conceal its own workings. Patterns from the past. History holds earlier hints of similar objects. In 1974, after a brush fire on Fort George Island, Florida, the Betts family found a smooth metal sphere that seemed to move on its own and respond to sound. The U.S. Navy examined it and later dismissed it as industrial scrap, and the case faded. Yet the parallels, seamless metal, odd behavior, and baffling scans are hard to ignore. In 2023, Pentagon briefings referenced spherical unidentified aerial phenomena, metallic orbs that darted through the air, and dropped off sensors as if they could change their mass at will. For decades, such reports were scattered and easy to dismiss. Now, for the first time, a sphere had been recovered and tested under strict controls. The evidence was no longer rumor or blurry footage. It was repeatable data. The Buga Sphere bridged legend and laboratory. What it could mean for us: the sphere's physics could transform civilization. Its energy behavior, absorbing ambient heat continuously, suggests devices that draw power from their surroundings without fuel or waste. Entire cities could be powered by systems that run as long as the environment exists. The mass control effect is even more disruptive. If a craft can reduce effective mass by up to 81%, propulsion changes completely. Spacecraft could shed most of their inertia and cross vast distances with minimal force. Maneuvers that now seem impossible, instant turns, hovering, vanishing from radar, become routine. This is not an incremental step beyond rockets or jets. It is a leap. But defense and security face new challenges. How do you track or intercept an object that can alter its gravitational profile? Radar and satellites assume fixed mass and conventional inertia. A vehicle that can change those on the fly slips through existing nets. In the wrong hands, such technology would be deeply destabilizing. The origin question is equally stark. Either an advanced civilization engineered this device, or someone on Earth achieved a secret breakthrough far beyond known research. Both possibilities are staggering. Either way, we are at a crossroads. The final reveal. At the end of their review, the MIT team chose unusually direct language. If confirmed, this discovery could reshape our understanding of motion, energy, and space. In their lab, skepticism met stubborn facts. The energy absorption was real. The weight fluctuations persisted through every control. Grok 4's predictions, once dismissed as wild, now match the data point for point. X-ray tomography revealed a neuromorphic lattice inside, more intricate than any known circuit. Hidden among filaments and microspheres, a negative mass generator appeared to be operating, altering forces, and resisting gravity, inertia, and entropy in ways no human device has done. This is the actual truth. What began as a spectacle over Colombia has become a direct challenge to the laws of physics as we know them. Next steps are already planned: neutron tomography, isotope analysis, and deep vacuum testing to observe the sphere in space-like conditions. One question hangs over every lab and late-night discussion: what intelligence placed this technology in our skies? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.